Welcome to this month's Millennial Spotlight, brought to you by Lead with Intention. I'm Leslie Bosserman, Executive Coach and Lifestyle Strategist, partnering with millennial leaders and their managers. The purpose of these conversations with millennial changemakers is to deepen and extend the dialogue around how to lead with intention. This month, we're focusing on how we can uplift and inspire others through our words, actions, and our relationships. I'm so excited to be here with Melissa Camilleri Anicich, founder and creative director of Complement, a creative jewelry design studio with a philanthropic purpose that she'll tell you more about. Their company motto is, "We rise by lifting others," so it has a perfect synergy with our theme. So welcome, Melissa. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share a little bit more about the Complement story.
So tell us a little bit more about just who you are and your background and your story.
Yeah, of course. So I started my career as a high school English and avid teacher in Sacramento, right outside Sacramento, California. And I thought that that's what I would do forever. That was totally my calling. And I was working predominantly with a group of students who mostly came from disadvantaged backgrounds, most of them first generation going to college, like first kids in their family who would be going to college eventually. And my role with those students in the AVID program was to help coach them socially, emotionally, and of course academically to give them more opportunities and more access to an education post-secondary, so after high school. And that, I was involved with that for 10 years in the classroom, also working with National AVID Center to become a teacher trainer to help other teachers engage students in the same way. And so that was my heartbeat. That was my passion. I loved so much being a part of that community. And so in 2011, I had a group of senior students, and I was making jewelry as a creative outlet. Like I had no real, desire to ever be a business owner. And so one of my students asked me to make her a ring for homecoming, and I had materials at home, so I did. And then by the end of the week, I had 22 orders on my desk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like a little mini trend among these senior girls going to their last homecoming dance. Most of these girls I had known all 4 years of high school. They had been in my class since they were 13, 14 years old. And now they were young women who were going off that year to college. And so they had been through just tremendous obstacles. I mean, there were some students who were living in their car, and some students who, came from backgrounds of abuse or addiction or whatever. And to see them thriving and growing into these amazing young women was something that I was really proud of, to be their mentor. So as I was delivering these rings, I was writing these little inspirational notes to them saying, I'm so proud of the woman you've become, or I love, that your heart is so geared towards service. You're making such a difference in our school community, and I know you will continue to whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, the dance came and went, and the girls wore their rings to the dance. And then a couple weeks later, I saw one of the girls. She came to my desk, and we were talking about how stressed out she was about her financial aid and whether or not she was going to get enough to actually be able to go away to school. And I noticed at the front of her binder, which is like very prime real estate for teenage girls, she had saved that note that I had written her with the ring. And so I asked her about it, and I said, I can't believe you kept that. What's the deal? And she said, this is literally the nicest thing that anybody said to me, and I never want to forget it. So I keep it here so I can read it every day. And I was like, wow, okay, that is very impactful. It's very much in my nature to shine a light on people's gifts, and I think that's what made me an effective teacher, especially in high school, is to help people see the things that they're good at and encourage those so that they feel that they have something to share with the world. But I didn't realize the impact my words had been having. And so I got this idea a couple of, days later. Maybe I could sell these rings as a prom accessory to the neighboring high school up the street, the kids who had the money, and to their parents. And the parents could include these inspirational notes with the jewelry. And with the money that I earn from this, I can create college scholarships for my students who are facing a real need and maybe won't be able to actually seize the opportunities that they've worked so hard for coming from these disadvantaged backgrounds. And so I did that. That started in November. By Christmas, I had sold $2,000 worth of product. And after covering my costs in that very first season, we were able to donate $500 to two girls for a scholarship. And so my belief was always, I'm going to give as much as I have to give. And even if that gift is small and it doesn't look really super impressive, I don't really care. Like, this is what I've been able to raise and make extra money with my own hands, creating this jewelry. So that evolved, word spread, and pretty soon people I didn't know were ordering from me. And in the spring of 2013, I made the decision to leave the classroom and pursue Complement full-time. And since then, it's just grown tremendously, and we've been able to help send 11 girls to college, all through inspirational gifts with uplifting messages. So that's the whole basis of my brand, is all about uplifting others. Our trademark is actually "We rise by lifting others." So uplifting others, and then using the proceeds that we make from our sales to help fund scholarships for girls in need here in our local community.
Wow, just hearing you recount this, it shows me it's not just a company brand, it's your life brand. It's something that's so much a part of your value system to encourage, uplift, and inspire others, that it was such a beautiful synergy that it just unfolded, right? It wasn't like, hey, I have a strategy to be an entrepreneur in 2 years and get out of this high school. No, I'm here to serve these students because I see their need.
Yeah, that's exactly how it unfolded. I mean, I never in a million years thought I would own a business. I thought I would be a teacher forever and ever and ever. And things have just really unfolded in a pretty beautiful way that I just do not take for granted, because I do think that this has become my life calling, to encourage others. And this is what I'm good at. And it just kind of happened that I was able to make money doing it. So I'm eternally grateful every single day that I get to call this my job.
Yeah, you're living what I call the Millennial Dream, where we turn our side hustle into our full-time gig that actually pays our bills, and we feel inspired and fulfilled from it. So yeah. When I talk to different millennials who might be working for someone else or doing something they care about, but there's something bigger that they feel called to do, they might not even know it yet, but they know it's out there.
Yeah.
What would you tell them to uplift them and encourage them to keep at it and keep searching or keep looking?
So this is kind of, it's funny you should ask, because I just had a conversation. We have a mutual friend named Nikki, and we were talking about our ultimate business plan. And our ultimate business plan is just don't quit. That's like our whole, motto. Just don't quit. So, sometimes the best laid plans, we can get really frustrated if we're really tied to an outcome. And I think that the most successful entrepreneurs that I know, who have turned their passion into their full-time job, and they're able to pay their bills and all of that, they let themselves be guided by their passion more so than necessarily like a monetary outcome or some idea of success that is easily measured by financials or by numbers. So once I let go of I need to be making X amount of dollars for, in this X amount of time, I think it really allowed for things to unfold much more easily. And so my advice would just be, you're in the exact right place at the exact right time at the moment that you're there. And so if you feel like you're not doing your life's work at 25 years old, that's okay. You're exactly where you need to be to learn the lessons you need to learn in order to fully become self-actualized and the person that you're meant to be, so that you can eventually do that. Like I'm not 25. I taught for 12 years and I still continue to coach teachers because I love it. So I don't think that you have to be locked into any one thing, but I also know that I wouldn't be as successful of an entrepreneur or business owner had I not spent those years in the classroom. I think I learned so many skills by doing something completely different and then entering into a totally different career. And so that's what I usually encourage former students or other people that I coach, is just be okay with where you are and learn all there is to learn in every situation that you're in, even if it feels uncomfortable, because you're always at the right place at the right time. And opportunities do come unexpectedly, and you may be doing something completely different than you even think that you should be doing right now. You never know how life will unfold. So be patient. Read as much as you can. I'm a big fan of reading.
Oh, yeah.
Well, learn as much as you can whenever you can.
And just leaving room for life to surprise you. I know when I worked in college, like higher education for a decade before I started my business, it's funny kind of hearing the parallel paths we have. But I taught leadership development, and I'd have students come to me and say, I just don't know what I want to do after I graduate. It's like, you're in luck. Your job that you might have in 10 years might not have even been invented yet. The field might not exist. You might be the one to start it. And it's figuring out what's the next right step. And then, like you said, how do you absorb everything you can from that and honor the relationships and the people and the skills and the abilities that you gain from that, right? And so when I think about this theme and this intention of being someone who can uplift others, I know there's a lot we can do as educators and teachers. What about people who might be in an organizational environment or maybe working retail? What tips do you have for people who might not be, again, living their dream job to kind of to be uplifted or uplift others?
Well, I mean, as silly as this might sound, I'm a really big fan of giving compliments, genuine compliments, and that's why my brand is called what it is, because I think it is a skill and an easy conversation starter, even if it's with people that you don't know. Looking somebody in the eye and giving them a genuine compliment like, thank you so much for your kindness, or I love your nail color. Where did you get that? Like, just little tiny things to affirm people, even if it seems like it's for a trivial thing, goes a very long way. I think that there are a lot of people in our communities who are starving for that kind of affection. And whether or not you're dealing with strangers in the public day in and day out, like if you're, a barista or something, or you're working in a corporate environment where you have maybe a team, it goes a really long way to recognize somebody for something positive. And I think you get extra brownie points if you can notice something about someone that is not related to their appearance. However, saying like, oh my gosh, that's a great color on you, is still a really nice thing to hear from time to time from somebody. So thinking of ways to uplift in those like really minute, day-to-day, everyone can do them kind of ways. But showing gratitude to somebody, I think also goes a really long way. So, working on a team, if somebody helped you with something or let you go in front of them on the copy machine or helped you meet a deadline or whatever, sending a little note that says thank you, a tiny gift, those are all things that you can do to uplift the people around you. And what you find if you are in that mode is that what you receive in return far exceeds what you give. And you don't want to do it for those reasons just because you think you're going to get something from it. But if you've established that you're the kind of person who is very grateful for people's help, I think people are more willing to help you. So I think those are probably the easiest ways to integrate that into your life in your day-to-day, regardless of what your occupation is.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic. And I'm curious, if we were to be speaking with some of these managers who work with cross-generational teams, like one of the things I hear a lot are, oh man, these millennials, they just want affirmation all the time, and they want to know they're right, they want their trophies or gold stars. And I mean, we can take that stereotype to the zillionth degree. But is there any additional advice you would have for managers who maybe are feeling a little bit frustrated or confused with how to actually compliment and uplift millennials who do thrive in that, as all humans do?
Well, I mean, I think it's a normal human need to feel validated. And if we are validating people or affirming people for stuff that they are just like expected to do, like, oh, good job, you came to work on time. We're not talking about that kind of thing where it's like that's just part of being a grown up. It's more like noticing something that somebody is good at, or noticing, if you're a manager, I think you have an extraordinary responsibility to find what strengths your team has and then affirm those strengths. And I don't think that is, I don't think that should be seen as annoying or like, part of the trophy generation at all. I think that's just good human interaction, where if you are leading a team as a leader, I think it goes a really long way if you can affirm the strengths of your team, no matter how old they are, no matter what generation they're in. It makes a really big difference in people's productivity and how much effort they want to give in the workplace. So I don't know if that's just my nature though. So, somebody else might have a different opinion about that, but I am very effusive with my affirmations, especially when I get to know people and see their strengths.
I think you and I are in good company on that. That's something that I love, and just understanding that everybody has natural talents and how to actually develop them into core strengths is huge. I mean, it's such an untapped potential especially for a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds who may never have had someone to acknowledge an area of really raw talent. So often when I do strengths trainings for organizations, we think that a strength is just something we're good at. And so managers say, oh, you're good at this, and they reinforce it and we do more of it. And it might feel good because they're acknowledging it or they're showing us more attention, but we might hate it or we might feel totally burnt out by the task. So really making sure as a manager to differentiate between, hey, is this actually an area of strength where they're more energized and they're thriving on the team and they're exceptional in it? Or is it just something they've learned to be good at? We call them learned behaviors in positive psychology. So that's my little bit of nerd research for our intro session today.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah. And that just goes to show with how you manage your energy and how you manage the things that you want to pour forth in the world. So I think all of that dovetails really beautifully. So was there anything else you wanted to share as we wrap up today?
I think that what we are, like the topic that we're on right now, recognizing people's strengths, I just think that is something that can't go underestimated, that when we shine a light on somebody's heart, on their passion, on their interests, it helps people grow into the people that they're meant to be. And I think that is how we can collectively do more good in the world. And I know that a lot of millennials, and probably the people who are attracted to your podcast, have certain values that they care about and that they want to do to affect change in the world. And we, as thrown around as this phrase is about being the change that you want to see, that really shouldn't be.
It's true.
Yeah, it shouldn't be something that we just see on Pinterest or on Instagram. Like, you can actually start, like you can start before you get paid to do the thing that you really believe in, whether you volunteer or it's the way that you interact with people on the day to day. You can be that change, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that you get paid to do. You bring you wherever you go. And so looking for ways to uplift, looking for ways to shine a light on other people's strengths is only going to brighten your own light. So, and then eventually the light of the world. So I thank you so much for letting me chit chat today.
Of course. I love it. It's just it's so nice to feature somebody who not only has taken their own advice, right? And blazed that path, not knowing what even the next chapter will look like. Yeah. And I'm excited to just see what the future holds for you and to just support you in your work. So I really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. You're so sweet to have invited me on. I really appreciate talking with you.
As you continue exploring ways to uplift others and enhance your life, make sure to check out leadwithintention.com for more insight and perspectives from other millennial changemakers. Also, make sure to go to shopcompliment.com and check out Melissa's amazing work and hear more about her story and how she's changing lives. Thanks again for being with us. This is Leslie Bosserman inviting you to join the wholehearted leadership revolution as you continue leading with intention.